Hi everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Cranky Gamers UK.net. I always forget that name and I fear of making a mistake now every time I introduce it, but yeah, it's episode 5 of Cranky Gamers UK.net. This week we was supposed to have a threesome, but sadly Foyble had to pull out through personal reasons right at the last minute. Wish him well and his family well, and hopefully he'll be back. He may be back next week. But other part of the trio was and still is Mideon again. How are you, mate?
I'm not too bad, mate. Hopefully the twosome doesn't sound as painful as a threesome to me, but
it's only painful for the editor usually, mate, because the more people you have on, the more you've got to be cutting and chopping and trying to get things to work. And he has actually sent audio in for the Q&A later, and I've not yet listened to it, so listeners are listening to this now at this minute, and you will either have a bit of Foyble later on in the show answering the Q&As, or you won't, because I've not been able to get it in. So, but I'll try my best, and I'll listen anyway. But as we say, wishes go to Foyble and his family, and he should be back soon. But anyway, we'll crack on with my week. And thank you very much straight away to everybody who was sending me get well messages. That I was getting them left, right and centre. As you know, I've been pretty ill. To be honest, I'm still not over it. I've felt a little bit funny for the past 48 hours, actually. And it's starting to really annoy me now. I want it to be gone and done. But I'm a lot better than I was this time last week. So, again, thank you to everybody who sent get well messages. And hopefully next week I'll be raring to go. I have actually managed to play some games this week, and even to shock a lot of you, they have actually got some serious PS3 time in, which will shock a lot of you, but I will talk all about that later. But the PS3 time was actually GTA 4, because I did a trade with one of our forum members, Confused Dude, and I'm mentioning his name to give him a big thanks as well, because in the game trade parcel that arrived on Monday, he'd sent my little daughter, who was also sadly being ill, a little Sackboy doll, and she wishes to thank you, and I do too. I think it was a very nice gesture. So, Confused Dude off the forums, thank you for that. Very appreciated. So, really, it's been a normal week, or getting back there. I've been running about probably 100 times more than I normally do, because my wife is laid up with knee surgery, so I've been the butler, the washer, the school taker, and the cooker as well. So, some may say it may get me a bit fit, but we'll have to wait and see about that one. Me, I just want to quickly get back on her feet, because it's driving me mad. So without further ado, I will ask what kind of week you've had, and I know from your notes and speaking earlier that you've had a bit of a funny week. When we was talking about your excellent job that you had, the games tester, which I, for one, was jealous, and I guess a lot more also enjoyed it. There was mentions on the forum of it. It was a cracking job. But sadly, your week has got a bit of that included, and some other crazy news. So what has it been like then?
yeah, mate, my week's deteriorated, and like you said, and as I said last week, the testing is not as good as it makes out to be, because the project that I was working on has been cancelled, so no more work there for me for the foreseeable future.
Is that the actual project has been shelved, never to come out, or has it just been you've been laid off because it's coming towards the end?
The project's been cancelled. That project's been in development for at least a couple of years, and it's been cancelled at least, well, this is to my mind the second time it's been shelved, so
really?
They may come back later and work on it again, but at the moment there's no work for me at least. So
that's crazy. That is mad,
yeah.
Then. To be working something that long, and then to just... When did you find out then? Had you got rumblings of it, or was it a shock when you turned up?
Well, obviously I have rumbles of it with no work for the past few weeks. It gets a bit mysterious that they're not giving you any work, and then I got the final phone call, the project's been cancelled the other day, so...
Are you? I know you can't mention what the project is, and I still keep meaning to ask you what it is, but privately. But are you surprised to see it cancelled, whatever it was?
I'm surprised that they cancelled it. They seemed adamant on releasing it. I didn't like the project. So from that point of view, from a point of view of the people that will be playing it, they should be thankful the project's cancelled. But apart from that, it's obviously no work for me. So from my point of view, it's a bad move for you. But you say it's strange that they do cancel it after that much work has been put in. Then that is certainly strange. But you've also got another problem in your household that I can read in these notes. What's that? Yeah, well, if you heard a loud bang in the podcast, that was the ceiling coming down on my head, mate. Basically, the ceiling, I live in a block of flats, and the people above have obviously got a leaking pipe, or they're mopping the floor too much, or the bath's overflowing, because the ceiling, every now and again, you hear drips coming down on the floor. So the ceiling's leaking, so if it comes down, you'll probably hear it.
Oh dear. It brings back horrible memories of when I was a young lad and my first abode was flats. Flats are a bane of evil, I think, in some places if they're not run correctly. But I certainly hope the ceiling don't fall down, and that will be entertaining for the podcast. So anyway, then it's we'll go straight on this week then into the gaming, and we'll move on to the big charts that we've got. So here's the charts. Okie dokie then, we'll crack straight on, and as by now most of you will have gathered that most of the charts are, as usual, pretty similar. So we'll crack straight on with the Wii charts. At number 5, down one place, is Guitar Hero World Tour. I didn't mention this last week, think about that, but I think that started to appear in the Wii charts purely because of the memory card thing that they now added, didn't they? They added the extra space for your
so downloadable content.
So downloadable content finally works on the Wii, so that's no surprise there. But it's still surprising Rock Band doesn't appear. But apparently Rock Band 2 is being released shortly, or has it just been released if I'm not mistaken? But anyway, same again at number 4, guys, I'm afraid. Rayman Raving Rabbit's TV Party, the game you can play with your ass, is the tagline I like to use, because you can use the Wii board to sit on it and rock from left to right. But anyway, down from 2 to 3 is Mario Sonic at the Olympics, the one that is just forever being there, and probably will be forevermore. Up from 3 to 2 is Mario Kart on the Wii, and the usual number 1, which, please, somebody out there, bring a game out to get this off number 1. Anything, not bothered, just do it. And it's Wii Fit. So, are you amazed that Wii Fit is just staying there, or do you think it just points to the fact that the Wii's just got such a poor release schedule?
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's probably more down to the fact that the people who buy the Wii now is just everyone. I mean, everyone out there has got a Wii, and everyone out there who's got a Wii gets Wii Fit. So
we've not got it.
There's more people who don't play games that buy these things, and there is people that actually play games. So that's the simple reason for it.
I heard another podcast this week, it might have been IGN, I think. IGN was commenting on the Wii. The exact same scenario I'm speaking of here is, why the charts don't change and does anybody buy anything. You could go on forever more about it. I think for the first time, though, in the past few weeks, that the Wii sales charts in Japan have took a tumble for the first time ever. So things are looking bad then, I guess, for the Wii. But I doubt that very much. But just bring some more games out, please. Anyway, on to the 360 charts. This will surprise a lot of you. It surprised me when I saw the charts. Number 5, up from number 11, so it's a pretty large jump in a week. And get ready for this one. Gears of War 2 appears at number 5. Any reasoning? Is it map pack time?
Back in, I think, because I've been seeing most places have got it now for 20 quid, so I think sales might have a bit to do with that. Yeah,
it's when games like this come charging back in the charts, there's two reasons. There's either big chain stores got a massive sale, or there's a map pack flying about. So surprising. Number 5 is Gears of War 2. But anyway, number 4, up from number 6, it's one of the Call of Duties again. Call of Duty 4 drops out the top 5, but is replaced by its friend Call of Duty World at War. They saw new map packs again this past few weeks, if I'm not mistaken, and even a new zombie mode, which I've got to say, I've actually traded the game now, and I did enjoy that zombie mode. Quite a good game. I didn't like the single player. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Have you played it at all?
Yeah, I've got it sitting here in front of me. I finished it a few weeks ago now. I played the zombie mode, but not online. I've only played it single player, so just me shooting the zombies.
It's really good online. I highly recommend it. I mean, obviously now they've got a new map, a new scenario, so I've not got a chance to try that. I just hated the single player. Did you like it, or no?
I liked it. It got a bit monotonous about halfway through. Just felt like a slug to get to the end, but it's just like the other Call of Duty single player modes, really. Like you always say on the podcast, you got to. All I try and do, mostly it kills me most times because I'm just thinking, I'm sitting here shooting this guy, but they're waiting until I move past that point. So most of the time I'm dying from running out into loads of people just to try and trigger the next checkpoint. I
think I've mentioned before on the podcast, the trigger points in World at War is truly one of the worst ones I've ever seen. I think most shooter games have got it, but it's the way you handle it, the way you disguise it. But World at War, I could literally, and I proved the point on a couple of days, and that stopped me playing it, where you know yourself, you're playing World at War, you get big scenarios that start off and there's a massive end in front of you. You've got to go from point A to point B, which inevitably involves going forward. Now, for me, at first person, you want to be able to tactics, sit, shoot, look, pick people off, or decide what you're going to do. I quickly figured the trigger points out. I literally just stood up and ran and hid behind the nearest thing as I could, right in the middle of this firefight, which immediately triggered all my soldiers to follow me. And I just used to lie there and let chaos ensue. And 9 times out of 10, cleared most of the path for me. Which is, I know some people like it. And to be honest, I think these Call of Duty games are just for online play anyway. The online modes are really, really well done. Really well done. Number 3 in the 360 charts is FIFA, up 2 places yet again. That keeps hanging in there. The best football game of this year. Soon to be number 10 out, no doubt, to follow. Surprisingly, Resident Evil is number 2, still at number 2 after being knocked off the top last week by a game I have not yet tried yet. Godfather 2 is at number 1. Game you're interested in? Game you've played?
No, I've not played this. I've played Godfather 1 for about 10 minutes, so not a lot. I mean, there's an original game on the PC called Mafia. That's based on all the Godfather kind of stuff, and I don't think any of these Godfather games are going to top that, to be honest, because that was an excellent game. I think the second one's due out this year. I think there's been a few trailers out for it.
But yeah, Godfather. I must admit, I'll probably try it if I get a chance to get it on a trade. But anyway, we'll move swiftly on to the PlayStation 3 charts. Only one new entry in this top 5, and it's in at number 5 from number 8. It's not really a new entry; it's just a re-entry. And again, it's FIFA 09. Back up. I think it's to do with the monthly updates that they do on that game to update the players. Number 4, down from 3, Street Fighter 4. Number 3, up from 4, back up a space, which is interesting. Killzone 2. Number 2, Resident Evil. Number 1, Godfather 2. Just the same as the 360. Again, we could do with some new big releases coming out, I think. Freshen these charts up. Little Big Planet, by the way, was a high climber in the top 10. That's back up to number 7, so I don't know if that's being held on sale somewhere, but again, that's rising up pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's due to sales again. It's £12 most places now. Silly price, really.
Do you know, it's a game I sadly did not hammer to death, and I still wish. I've actually lent it one of my relations, and I must get it back, because I have hardly played it, and it's a game I really do want to have a good go at least have a go at finishing it anyway.
Yeah, it came out just before I got rid of my PS3, and everyone was saying to me, why are you getting rid of your PS3, Little Big Planet's coming out? And I was in the beta, Little Big Planet as well, and I did play it when it came out, but it just didn't get me like it got everyone else. I didn't understand where all the hype came from.
Didn't me, mate. And I mean, obviously listened to this podcast before in the past. You know my thoughts on Little Big Planet way back. I thought it was going to be a bit of a stinker, and to be honest, I don't think it has sold as many as they wanted it to. It was being hailed as the console seller, the big driving force. It never was. It was a good game, without question. It was different, it was fresh, it was original. I just know that from experience that them kind of games, when you're relying on content from other people, unless you'll very quickly get like a click of everybody that likes it, and that'll be it. Everybody else will try it for 5 minutes and then they'll just stop. And I just think that's what was probably going to happen and probably did happen. So I know a lot of people do like it, popular, but I still want to try it. I still want to get to the finish the single player game. I will. I'll probably chase that up this week, having said that. Anyway, onto the PC charts. Sadly, again, top 5 unchanged. Number 5 still at 5, World of Warcraft. Number 4 still at 4, Warhammer Dawn of War 2. 3 is down from 2, Company of Heroes Tales of Valor. Number 2 is up from 3, Empire Total War. And as usual, number 1, Football Manager 09. DS. I've actually played more DS this week than any other console in my house. That's to do with I managed to pick up another one so I could play my daughter in trades. I traded, got one, absolutely loving it. We're playing Mario Kart every night. The nephew turned up last night. We had a 3-player game. Such a good little thing that machine is. It really is. Have you got one?
I've got one, yeah. Trying to buy my money together to get a DSi because I want to try out the DSi as well. So.
I wouldn't honestly save your money. Really, I'll give you an inkling. My Game Treat site that I use regular, this week alone, I think I saw 15 of them appear on the trading site, and everyone said I bought it. I don't like it. So, but anyway, I'll reel these charts off. See if any take your fancy. Number 5 up from 7. Just mentioned it. Mario Kart. The much aligned that we're still yet to see, and I want to have a look what it's like. Club Penguin Elite Force down from 2 to 4, up from 4 to 3 again. It's a bit of a coincidence. We was slagging it off last week as having poor sales and not selling very well. GTA 4 Chinatown, sadly a game I've only tried 5 minutes of. Up from 4 to 3. Up from 3 to 2 again. One of the old ones. Brain Training. How old is your brain? Number 1, Professor Layton is still there, and also somebody posts on our forums, I think, from me saying last week about there is quite a few of these to be coming out. There's 5. A lot of people didn't know that. There are 5 editions of this, and I think there's definitely 1 coming out in this country, and I think there are plans for more. Somebody has published the whole 5 with titles and a bit about them on the forum, so
yeah,
check out.
Me, that was.
Was it you? Oh my
yeah,
God, it's
that
you.
was me first, and then I think it was Frack. He came in and put a bit more detail on.
Is that it?
Aspects,
Well, there you go then. There's me not doing research and checking who did it, but well done. I'm glad you did. It was interesting. But Professor Layton is still at number 1, and a great game as well. One my daughter keeps winding me up that she's finished and I haven't. So. But the DS, I'm really, really playing it a lot. I've just put back in this morning again Zelda, Phantom Hourglass. I never got around to finishing that. And I'm going to have another go at that, I think.
It's a good game, but the main premise is you get further in the one dungeon, don't you? So you have to keep
back in that dungeon.
The same dungeon.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Killed it stone dead for me, that did. I think it was whoever designed that was an horrendous idea. And seriously, I don't think there's anybody in the world doesn't mention that as a problem. But I tell you what got me interested again. I read a bit about the leaked news. Well, I say leaked news, the announced news that there's a new Zelda for the DS on its way.
Yeah, Spirit Tracks. Whereas on the other one you're on a boat, weren't you? On this one you're on a train.
You're on a train, and I've got to say it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And did you see any release dates on that, or was it just literally just showed to liven it up?
They said this year. They didn't say a time this year. I presume. At the end of the year, but they said this year, so...
Well, that'll be really good. Excellent, in fact, because Zelda games love them. Anyway, I'm going to hand the iPhone charts over to you, because you put them in there. I couldn't get them in time, and I handed it over to you, so I'm going to let you read the iPhone charts. Go ahead.
Right, mate, number 5 is Flick Fishing. I don't know if you tried that one.
Come close. Not tried it yet.
Apparently they've just added an online mode that's got an update, so that might be why it climbed up a little bit. Okay. Number 4 is Glider.
Not seen that one either.
That one's basically, as the title suggests, you play as a glider, and you got to go through various challenges. I think it's a little bit like Pilot Wings.
Oh, I used to love that game.
Back in the day. That one's been on sale, so that's why that one's moved up as well. Number 3 was in there the last time. Who has the biggest brain?
Not got round to trying that yet. I keep meaning to.
Number 2 is Leaf Trombone. That one, I assume, is I think I've seen pictures of it. It's a leaf, and you play it like a trombone. Basically, there's notes on a leaf.
Oh, really?
and you put your tunes in, and then I think it plays it back, whatever tune you've put in, and you can play it as well.
I've got to say, I mean, these iPhone, iPod charts are some real good stuff, but there is some poor stuff as well, isn't there?
And number 1, Flight Control, as always.
Best game on there.
I've not got it. It's still only 59p, I think. I've not got around to trying it. But every time I look at Twitter, people are putting the scores on. High score, 79 Flight Control.
Is that the biggest score you've seen, 79?
I think I've seen someone. I think the highest one I've seen is someone with 98 or something.
No way on this earth. No way. My highest is 69. So.
I know I've seen on a couple of iPod forums that they are bringing out an update. I think it's going to hit next week, and it's got online leaderboards. So
that'll be brilliant.
That'll pump it up.
You must go and get, and anybody out there has not got Flight Control. It's such an ingenious, brilliant little game. But hang on to your iPod, because it's also one that'll make you break it. Drives you mad. But anyway, thank you for them iPhone charts. I like them. It's becoming a very popular thing, the iPhone games, and more news you see every week. It seems to be on the headlines. And talking about news, I think we'll move straight on to this week's news. Rightio, as my notes telling me here, there was going to be 3 of us, but as we say, because of Foyble pulling out, there is only 2, so this may be a little shorter this week, because we've not updated anything. So I'm going to crack off with a bit of a mini rant and a bit of a thing that I noticed again this week. Some of you might remember a few weeks ago when Microsoft plugged, I think Major Nelson plugged it more than anybody, where Amazon was starting to sell arcade titles straight off their store, where you could buy points. You could literally buy the Microsoft stuff off Amazon. When I saw that on Twitter, I absolutely thought that is fantastic idea, brilliant idea. Obviously didn't click my brain into gear, because obviously pretty swiftly realised it was US only, as most things are to do with things like that, which really does infuriate me. But my first news story this week will just infuriate me just a tad more, where the headline reads, Amazon starts selling WiiWare titles, but in brackets, in the US. The quote was, following on from recent news that Amazon was starting to sell XBL titles, comes news this week that they could just go, the WiiWare titles are appearing exactly the same. I'd like to know if anybody has seen if the UK are going to get this, if it's planned, either on the WiiWare titles or the Xbox titles. I would definitely like to see Xbox titles being sold on Amazon. I think it's a great idea. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea. Obviously, they're online titles, so selling them online is a move forward. They shouldn't just restrict it to Amazon. I suppose there's a lot of logistics involved in getting it set up, though. So hopefully they roll it out to other sites. Like obviously we've got Play is one of the main ones over here. If they roll it out somewhere like that, then I think it'll take off pretty big. Do you think the UK? Do you think they'll hit the UK at all, or do you think they might just keep it to the US? It'd be very surprising if they just stick to US. I think they will hit the UK, but like it always is, we're obviously a few months behind, like we always are. So as soon as they set it up there, I mean, as you know, we still haven't got a proper streaming service like America have got on their Xbox Live. They've got Netflix, we've got nothing. So obviously, I think something's in the works for us. So it'll take a few months, like it normally does, but we'll get it in the end. I
mean, I think I commented at the time about Netflix. I think you've got to look at, like you say, the logistics of it all. I think regarding Netflix, the only thing that could be anywhere close to being the same in the UK would be either Love Film or Blockbuster. So I'll be surprised if Microsoft aren't actually in talks with anybody to try and sort it out. I'm disappointed. And like I say, especially with this point system, let's get it on for the UK. It's not very good. Just leaving it like that. Anyway, my second story, I caught this, and I can't remember actually reading the original piece, but happy to see this week, and happy and both interested as well, where the headline reads, Square acquisition of eidos approved by the court this week. It reads, a court has approved the acquisition of UK games publisher eidos by none other than Square Enix. According to a news section on gamesindustry.biz, details of the acquisition had been proved at a court hearing this week, with Square Enix will officially take over on April the 22nd, which now has passed a few days ago. It goes on to say, dealings in eidos shares on the London Stock Exchange have been suspended as of 5 p.m. British Summer Time, and as of 6 p.m. eidos shareholders did receive 32p per share, with any unpaid dues to be dispatched later in the year. Sadly, eidos will now no longer be listed in the UK Listings Authority and will be officially cancelled in April. Sad, very sad in one way, but both very interesting to see Square Enix. Where do you see this going? Do you think it's a good thing? Well, it's obviously a good thing because eidos collapsing, I think, is very sad. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they hold a lot of franchises, don't they? eidos, Tomb Raider, Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain. I remember back in the days, it was close to us, obviously, because you live in Derby and I live in Burton. eidos originally published Tomb Raider, didn't they?
They did. It came from Derby.
Came from Derby, yeah. Core Design.
They did.
Derby.
Greatest city in the world. But, I mean, it intrigues me. The story definitely intrigues me. Could you imagine seeing Tomb Raider RPG?
I think what they're trying to do is establish more of a foothold outside of Japan Square, so that's why they're picking up these companies, so they can establish more of a foothold, like I say, outside of Japan.
You don't
games that don't appeal to just Japanese people.
Yes, good point that is, mate. A very good point. You don't see them. They won't even dream of cancelling Tomb Raider, would they? No.
I mean, even though the sales are below what people expect at the company, they're still going to be selling quite a lot. You always see them in the charts. You always see people always know when there's a new Tomb Raider game coming out.
Oh yeah, idiots like me. That's the ones you're looking for. Idiots like me that's played everyone and finished everyone. So yeah, but it certainly will be interesting keeping a close eye on Square and see if they do actually tie any IPs from eidos. Be a shame if they just let it, go untouched. Because I'm pretty sure they have some. Well, they've got Tomb Raider franchise, and I'm guessing they've got quite a few others in the fire. So good to see that they've rescued them, saved them, took them over, and let's hope they bring some really cracking titles out. So there's my two short bits of news, and Mideon, let's have you on, mate. What you got?
My first one is that Apple have reached 1 billion apps downloaded from the App Store. Now, this happened yesterday or the day before. I think the 1 billionth app was downloaded. I know they're running the competition. The person who downloaded the 1 billionth app gets a silly amount of iTunes points to spend on things on iTunes, yeah.
I saw the little app because it was on the front page of iTunes every time you load it up to charge my iPod. And I nearly downloaded it. I think last I saw it was at 9.5, so I didn't bother. But even 9.5, it only took a few days to get to the top. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's really taken off now. Apple have just come out and said they've sold 37 million iPhones and iPod Touches.
Jesus.
I think the App Store's only been out for 9 months, I think, off the top of my head. And to reach 1 billion in 9 months is a pretty hefty achievement, to be honest.
I think what they've got to be commended for along the board is doing it properly.
Yeah.
The bottom line is handling it properly, selling the product properly. I mean, let's be honest, and there's no beating about the bush, they are not a cheap piece of hardware.
No.
And for such an expensive piece of hardware to be in this vicinity of making this kind of money is astounding, really. So, but the way they do run the App Store and the money, I think it's well handled and something that the others could take a big, long, hard look at. But 1 billion apps is just absolutely crazy in such a short space of time.
And apps obviously cover the 1 billion apps is every single kind of app you can get, but games are apparently still the single largest category on the App Store. Apparently games are sold way more than any of the other apps.
Are you of the belief like me, though? Would you like to see this? Would you like it now seen held back a bit and a bit more better filtering? Or are you happy with sifting through all the rubbish?
Yeah, I don't know what Apple's approval process is, but I know they should.
I think it's anything, mate.
Should get it down to a fine art, I think, because I know it's been in the news this week. They approved an app called Baby Shaker, didn't they?
Oh, and, you're kidding.
The aim of the app was they had a baby on it crying, and the aim of the app was to see how long you could last the baby crying until you shook your iPhone and game over. Now it's been in several national newspapers.
I've not seen that. That is a bad.
Yeah, that's of course some bad press for Apple. So they need to get a hold on what they need to be looking at when they're approving games, because that shouldn't have slipped through the net at all.
They actually, I think this happened last week, last year, didn't they do a story broke with there was a knife game on it, I think, that hit the headlines, and I think they said then, before Christmas, that there was hopefully going to sort this mess out. It's clear now then, quarter of a way through this year, they've still not sorted it out, so...
No, I mean, it couldn't come at a worse time for them. Obviously, the billionth app downloads is a big publicity thing for them. To have that come out at the same time is a bit poor for them, really.
It is, but like you say, let's hope it's the kick in the teeth they need to sort it out. Because I, for one, would like to definitely see something like that not even getting anywhere near being released, let alone even looked at on hitting the headlines. This is a poor one, but there we go. Anyway, mate, what's your next story?
The next story is apparently Sony was going to have a huge announcement on April the 27th, but apparently, as usual with these things, it's been leaked a little bit early, and it is the fact that Uncharted 2 is going to have a multiplayer mode.
Have you not played the first one?
I've played the first one. I had it on a demo when I had my PS3, and that is the only game I regret not getting and finishing while I had my PS3, to be honest. And when the second one comes out, if PS3 drops in price a little bit, I might pick another one up.
Well, I've got the first one, and I'm 3/4 of the way through the first one. And funnily enough, this week I picked it up in my hand and got distracted, and I was going to put it in and try and finish it because it is an excellent game. But multiplayer, I can't see that being working very well, do you?
Yeah, there's been no screenshots or anything like that how it's going to work. I presume it is just going to work like the newly released downloadable content for Resident Evil.
Yeah,
with versus mode of Resident Evil, just walking around shooting each other. But you never know, they haven't, like I said, there's no screenshots, it's not officially announced, but there may be a co-op mode in Uncharted 2, you don't know.
But coming back to what you just mentioned here, the rumours are abound. Again, I know they come every 6 months with Sony, but rumours are abound that E3 is going to be their announcement for finally the price reduction. Yeah,
they've come out and said it's going to be our biggest E3 ever. I don't know if that's just to hype everything up or it really is going to be, but we'll see.
I think I was listening to IGN yesterday morning when I was on the way to school, and they started discussing this very subject about Sony, and they were saying they aired the big announcements, and they was actually trying to guess what they would be. And they came across some really good points, actually, because what they said was, and this is interesting, where they was asking each other what could be the real, groundbreaking announcement that they could hit everybody with that would actually be worth announcing. And obviously top of the list would be a reduction in price. It'd be surprising, but it wouldn't be shocking. But they was all saying, and I was thinking the same, that there isn't much else they could hit people with that you would sit up and say, wow. I mean, we all know that there's Gran Turismo coming out. They all know they're bringing some of them MMOs that they showed last year coming out. And basically everything that's coming out, we already know is coming out. So have you any ideas of titles that they could be hitting us with?
I think one of the main big things that they may hit us with this time is the fact that they might put PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility into every PlayStation 3.
Do you think so?
Through software emulation, yeah, that's been a rumour for a long time, and they can do it, because I know one of the SingStar games, you can put the PS2 version in, and it will play even on a 40 gig PS3 that has no backwards compatibility.
I can actually back that up 100% and tell you exactly how it works, because I have done it myself. Right. My PS3 isn't backwards compatible. We are massive SingStar fans, as everybody probably knows. We have got all the PS3 versions. And about, I can't remember now, quite a few months back, came a shock announcement on the store that I saw where it said you can play your PS2 SingStar. So I was amazed. I picked it up quickly because we've still got the others. Put it into put the PS3 version in. It loads the game, and at the bottom of the game it just says press select to exit disc. So you press that, you literally put the other one in, PS2. It comes up, screen loads up. It says please wait. And then it just pauses and comes up and says loading content, and it just about a couple of minutes and it loads all the content off that disc straight onto your game, and you can literally see all the songs just pop up as if it was a PS3 title.
Yeah, so I assume that will be one of the big announcements they're going to make. I can't think of too many others. I mean, they might show God of War 3 playing for the first time. They've showed some videos, but
I'll be amazed. A couple of things I was thinking. I'll be amazed if they don't show any God of War 3 actual gameplay. I hope they don't come on and spat things like Little Big Planet 2. And
they're going to announce Little Big Planet PSP, aren't they? Because
yep.
Stephen Fry's already been on Twitter saying he's been recording voice work for it. So
Oh, there you go then.
And also, I think, don't be surprised if they announce as well that they're getting rid of the UMDs and every PSP title is going to be downloadable.
Yeah, because the news broke these past few weeks for the first time that a big title is only going to be available on download only, and that's Patapon 2. If you didn't know that. So yeah, I think good predictions there, Mideon. Very good. I think you could be right there. Just while we go off the news then, it's an interesting subject. E3 is approaching, and I'm hoping this year to do a similar thing as I did last year. I'm still planning it, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. But obviously we'll do some E3 content because it's the highlight of the year for gamers, I would say. What are your predictions for the other two, Nintendo and Microsoft? Any thoughts on that?
Microsoft, I think they're going to have some new games, new big titles. It's a bit too early for Gears of War 3. So
Halo 4, I'll tell you now, without a doubt, is coming this E3.
They're going to have the expansion pack for Halo. I think they'll show that off more because that's coming out this year, isn't it? So
I've got a feeling that they're going to hit us with a brand new Halo, completely.
They're going to be showing off Alan Wake. Hopefully, that's gone into obscurity, but that looked good when they did show it off.
It did.
Hopefully that comes back out again.
But I've been thinking myself about this subject, and I can't think of anything they're going to come on the stage and hit us with. Do you? No talk of a new console yet. Do you think?
I don't think so. I know last year and for a while it's been rumours that they've got motion controls like the Wii supported somewhere, so that may come back up again. You never know. That was
my biggest thought and hope last year's E3. I was spouting that motion control was coming for nuts and bolts, but sadly never came out. But do you think they could pull one off, or do you think it's not needed?
I don't think they could do it. The reason it's successful with the Wii is because it comes with the Wii. Every Wii game's catered for that, but why are you going to split the market if they did it with the Xbox? I don't think that would work at all, so maybe that's why they've canned it. I don't know.
Good thinking. What about Nintendo? Could they do anything that's going to shock anybody? I highly doubt it.
Nintendo, I assume, is going to be the same as last year, whether it's out, how much they've sold, how good they are, and basically I think they're just going to carry on saying, like they did last year with the Wii Motion Plus, that's due out around the same time as E3, so they'll probably just do some demos of that.
Do you think they'll also not make the same mistake as they made last year, where they got really slated, didn't they, for not announcing a single hardcore kind of game or showing any future games? They got hit hard for that, didn't they? Yeah,
last year the only hardcore game they announced was Chinatown Wars. That was a big surprise. No one was expecting that, GT on the DS. So you never know. They may, this year, announce a GT on the Wii.
Do you think so? Cool, yep. God. Ooh, be surprised. But anyway, we'll obviously have more on E3 as it approaches, and as I say, hopefully got plans for it. Well, I think last year we did some hourly shows. I might do the same, but obviously it's going to be early hours of the morning for me, so I don't know yet. I'll probably do it if I can find somebody to co-host with me who's stupid enough to get up at that time as well, who's a mad gamer as well. But leave it with me, guys. I'll hopefully sort something out. So moving on to something that proved very popular last week on the forums, and I got quite a lot of email back for it. Sadly not got a lot of questions sent in for it, which is the usual case with you lot. You sit back and enjoy the show, but let's have some more sent in, and I'm talking about the quickfire Q&A round. It was interesting last week. I've got 5 questions, I think. I will see anyway. We'll go straight on with them. The first question this week for the quickfire round was been sent in by Rain God Zippo. Good question, and he asks, which current console, if any, do you think will be remembered best in 50 years' time, and why? Go for it.
That one's pretty easy, to be honest, isn't it? It's going to be the Wii.
I think you're going to hit the same answer as me, definitely. Yeah, is that what you say?
Yeah, everyone's going to remember the Wii. I think parents and grandmas and granddads will still be playing it in 50 years' time at this rate on the Wii
well,
Fit.
It'll be us, won't it, in for probably 50 years tomorrow. Might not be me. Fit. Yeah, I'll be surprised if I'm around in 50 years' time anyway. So, good question. I mean, I say I'll agree with Mideon. I mean, it's going to be the Wii. At the current crop, it's got to be the Wii. The DS might hang in there, I suppose. You might have a word about the DS because the numbers that sells by could be remembered in 50 years' time as the best handheld. What about the iPod, the iPhone, the games coming on that? You think that could be?
I think it's going to be remembered for being the first one to, like say, get the store properly up and running how it should be done, showing people the way forward, showing that that kind of thing can be successful. But as a machine, I don't think it's going to be remembered as much as the Wii or the DS.
Well, then again, in 50 years' time, who knows what Apple's going to be bringing out? So, certainly interesting. Anyway, thanks for that question. The next question I'm going to read out is sent in by Spider Josh. And he asks, if you could be in any game in the history of games, what would it be? Oh, God.
This one's another easy one for me. I don't even take thinking about it. It'd be Duke Nukem 3D. I'd be Duke Nukem.
Really?
The stuff that he gets to do in that game, I'd love to do.
That's a good one, yeah. It's a good one. I think my answer to that is probably nothing exciting, probably a superhero where you could be flying about and stuff. I enjoyed one of the best MMORPGs I got into, the superhero one, that the name escapes me.
City of Heroes, is it?
That's it. It is City of Heroes. I thought that was a well done game. Got you involved into the superhero thing. It was handled well, but again, it's a monthly subscription. But mine, if I could be in any game, not any game specific, but character wise, would be a superhero game. I think would be pretty cool. So, anyway, thanks for that question. I'm going to move on to Goal Machine's question. He's got two, and I'll say the last one, which really only probably is aimed at me, because I like the question as well. But the other question he had sent in, he says he's been playing Wheelman, which is obviously a mix of Burnout and GTA. He asks, what other two games would we like to be mixed into a single game?
This one, because you know I'm a little bit sad, I like wrestling. I'd like to see wrestling mixed with an RPG.
And how would that work then? Have you got your ideas?
Yeah, basically you'd have the matches like you would in a normal wrestling game. Then after the matches, the storyline bits would be like an RPG, the way RPG stories are laid out. So you can make different choices. Different choices affect the attributes of your character and stuff like that.
And you would buy that as well?
I would buy that straight away.
Oh dear, I mean, what two games could I say mixed together? I don't really know. It's an hard question, that one is. An hard one. A good one, but an hard one. I'd mix a sport one with, yeah, that's a cool one. A sport one with a shooter, where you could have a game of football where they're carrying guns. So you just shoot the opposition to score, or a bit rollerballish. Can you remember rollerball?
Yeah, that's been. I know I sent you an email about Blood Bowl multiplayer beta.
Yeah,
it's a football game with like orcs and things like that. You use weapons and that, so you might want to try that out.
Well, you know what? That could be a very good thing to do. I have got that email, and I just might well check that out. But, thanks for the questions, guys. I'm just going to finish with one that's more likely aimed at me. Again, it's from Goal Machine, and he asks a really interesting question. Would you rather Derby County Football Club be the best team in Europe, or me have the best podcast? Or number one podcast, he asked. And that's a really good question. And I would have to answer simply Derby County the best team in Europe, although to me that they are anyway. But yeah, I'd like to see Derby back to being successful. For all you non-footballers out there, Derby County are only a handful of teams that's actually won the Premier League twice, or the Premier League as it was back in the day. 72 and 75 if you want to know. So we're not one of the has-beens, we are one of the biggest teams there's ever been. So, but number one podcast, well, there's only one way that happens, and that's you guys. Keep leaving reviews and telling people that we're here. So, yeah, good question.
Just in case you're wondering what my choices would have been, I think the Wii will be remembered most in 50 years' time. I would rather Toz had the best podcast than Derby County be the best team in Europe. I would like to see a cross between Mirror's Edge and Halo 3. I think the idea of having a really agile Master Chief would really spice the game up, and I think it'd be great. And if I could be any person in the history of games, I would probably have to be a Solid Snake. Enjoy the rest of the show.
And that goes for all of you guys. Really good questions, Q&A. What I will say, send them in. It's not hard. It's just one question. Can be about anything, as we've just found out. It doesn't have to be about gaming. Can be any subject. We will try and answer them. And basically, hopefully, it'll be good. it's proving popular. Send all your entries to crankytoz@gmail.com. Mark them with the question and answer session. And as I say, send them in, get yourself a shout out. And this week's, obviously, Rain God, Zippo, Gold Machine and Spider Josh have got themselves a nice little shout out there for sending some really good questions in. Thank you for that. So then, we're moving quite quickly today. We're going to move straight on to what we've been playing. Okie dokie then. I think I will go first. I usually do. I don't see any difference. Why not? You saw me, or you heard me rather, mention at the top of the show PS3 time. Finally got to play some PS3 this week. A couple of reasons behind it are the simple fact that my Xbox was in the big room this week. With me being ill, I shifted it into the big room so I could play some in there, and I never got round to putting it back in my computer room, as I call it. So I was left with the PS3 when the wife was watching some TV. And as I said, Confused Dude and I did a trade this week, and I got GTA 4. I didn't finish it on the 360. Put it into the PS3, updated as most games do now on the PS3 when I put them in. Got to say, first impressions, looks better on the PS3 than 360. I don't know if some of you guys think I'm right about that. It just looks more polished, cleaner. Doesn't, for want of a better word, doesn't look jaggy edged. It looked very nice, very smooth. I think I played it for about an hour and a half. Enjoyed it thoroughly. I've got written down in my notes here where I just say that it's proves to be just such a great game. I think you realise what a good game it is. Have you played the GTA 4 on 360 or your PS3 when you had it?
Yeah, I've still got GTA 4. Like I said last time I was playing the downloadable content, which the PS3 version hasn't got, which was the deal with Microsoft and Rockstar, wasn't it? So
yeah.
But no, I've never played the PS3 version. The only things I've heard are the install time. Is there an install time on it? There
isn't. There wasn't an install, or unless I missed it. I know there was just an update, and we went straight away. And I think I've not seen any install time, but I might have missed it. But I don't think I did. But
yeah,
it's exactly the same game, obviously, but it does look more polished. And as I say, I'd like to try and finish it because I have not finished it. I've not got it on the 360 anymore. You're right about the downloadable content. Am I right in saying that they do plan to bring some DLC out for the PS3, or was the deal purely 100% 360 and that's it?
I remember, this is obviously nearly a few months ago now, but I remember about when GTA 4 was just first coming out, Rockstar did say that we'll have downloadable content for the PS3, but the exclusive content will be on the 360. So, but I don't know whether they've abandoned that idea, because it's, like I say, it's over a year now since it's been out, isn't it? Last March.
Well, I was going to say, you're not hearing anything in the pipeline, are we? There's nothing there as such.
You mentioned the updates that it does when you put it in as well. I've heard someone complain about on Twitter this week as well, and I used to hate it when I had my PS3. The updates work differently to the 360, don't they? Where it has to download the whole update, whereas the 360 just downloads a little bit that adds into the game. The PS3 has to download the whole update.
I don't know if I mentioned. I think I mentioned the story last week. I think, but the updates last week when I think I mentioned about my daughter trying the camera one, the Eye of Judgment game.
Yeah.
Her and my nephew sat last week just to prove your point about the updates, which is a pain in the backside. I mean, I know it's an old game, a very old game, but they sat there in the length of time it took me and my wife to actually watch a whole movie. I came into this room and it was on 48%.
Yeah, I don't know if it's changed since I had it, but when I had it, you couldn't put the download in the background either.
Can't.
It had to be. You can't do anything else while it's doing it, can you?
No, can't. They actually sat and put the TV on and left it in the background, which, like you say, I mean, okay, if it's going to be a short one, then nobody has a problem with that. But when it's lasting 10, 15, 20 minutes and sometimes even longer, then you're getting onto the regime of thinking, Christ, this is getting a bit silly. I don't know. It's a strange one. But updates have to be done. You want working games, I suppose, and that's what it's there for. But anyway, played the PS3, guys. I say GTA 4. Hopefully playing it again this week, and I will do, because I think that story drags you in. And as people may know in the past with me, I'm very rarely a guy that will go back to a game that I've played and finished. And somebody did, I think I mentioned, when I mentioned GTA 4 on the 360, that I may have been on the last level. Somebody actually messaged me, I think, and said that they think what I explained in the other show. That
Yeah, I saw it on the forum as well, and I thought back afterwards when I read it, and after you explained it to me, and it does sound like you were on the last level.
I was on the last level, and it was just so infuriating.
And you shoot at a warehouse, aren't you, and then it moves on.
It moves on to the helicopter, then to the boat. I managed to get off the boat, but getting to that point...
Is it the one where you get on the motorbike, and then you have to ramp over the river?
I've not got that far. I stopped on the boat.
That's not the last mission, then. So right. The last mission, you go through a warehouse, from memory. You get on a motorbike, go across a beach, and then you get onto a helicopter. I think you were a few missions away from the end.
Probably are then, but I might have to. Well, probably I'll play this PS3 version and finish that one. Then I will find out. But it's certainly a great game, no question. I also played with my PS3 switched on. I played my greatest golf game ever, my Everybody's Golf. I love that game. I really do. I've been meaning to click the online on it of it as well and see if it's actually still lively, see if there's any action on there.
Online's supposed to be good, but like I said, I'm not sure with not having a PS3 if they updated it, but they didn't have voice chat, did they?
Is that right?
Yeah.
To be honest, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me, voice chat, cause I very rarely play online unless it's with friends off my friends list anyway. So, but I might try it, 'cause it's my favourite game, and anybody out there that has it and fancies a game and you want to do that, will shout me up and I'll do it. It's very enjoyable. The Wii, sadly, as regarding the charts, nothing new, nothing fresh. So until some awesome game comes out, I'm afraid that it'll be gathering dust where my daughter's left it, which I knew it'd end up being like this. I always did. It's the second one we've had, and it's the second time it's happened. So crazy. And on to 360. Still trying to get to the Resident Evil end. I keep getting sidetracked. None more so by the awesome, and I do mean awesome, World Championship snooker. Just gets better and better. I think I mentioned it in previous shows. It takes such a chunk out your gaming time. Even stuck on 50%, you can be playing a game that literally can last 3-4 hours, and time flies by. But I'm just going to say something I've done this week to get my achievement, and a few people have messaged me and said congratulations, and there's a forum post on the forums. I got the 147 break achievement this week, which a few have commented that it is a hard one, and I know it's a hard one because I never got it on any of my other World Championship snookers.
Yeah, I've never got 147 on a snooker game ever. I think the highest I've ever got is something silly like 50.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you now that the frame before I got the 147, I mean, people that don't know, it's just like the maximum in darts and in baseball, the no-hitter, it's the maximum you can get. It's when you pot 15 reds, 15 blacks, and the colours. The previous frame, I actually potted 12 reds and 12 blacks and missed. And actually, since the 147, I've had 2 more chances to hit it again when I've potted at least 10 reds and 10 blacks. So I get a century virtually every game, in every game I play. So, but if people don't know, I actually played snooker very regular in my early years, 3-4 times a week. My highest break on a big table was in the 80s, I think. So I do know about the positioning, which is actually quite good for the game, because what I do want to say about it, the game designers have done an excellent job in making the game so realistic, and it proves a point that people that know how to play the game, and it's all about positioning the white ball, where you're going to put it for your next shot. It's so accurate. It's really very accurate. It's brilliant.
That's the problem I always have on my snooker games. I keep getting the red, getting a red, and then obviously trying to line up for the black, hit the black, and then the white ball's off at the other end of the table, and the reds are still at the bottom.
I mean, the way this game's done, if not many people know, what I do like about it, I mean, any tips for beginners or new players is when you're playing the game, position is everything. Like I say, you've got to be ready. When you line your shots up, make sure you put the overhead camera on, which is Y, to look at your shot beforehand and look where the black circle is. And the black circle represents an estimation of where the white ball is going to finish. Now what I do is I put that up. When I line my shot up, then I put that up and check. And if I need altering for the power, to hit it harder, to put it where I want, or to hit it softer, that's the way to do it. So few tips out there, just use your overhead camera before you take your shot. It helps a lot. But game I'm playing a lot, I like it, I really do. And I've looked at some of the achievements this week, and there's some crazy silly achievements on it as well. But the other game I've played this week a lot, I think it was about a week ago actually when I finished recording the podcast, played Lips, stuck Lips in, because somebody told me about the online leaderboards. I only had about 3/4 an hour on it, because I said I was a bit under the weather. Tried it, but surprisingly to see a couple of my super singing sensation hit the low 200s in the charts and the leaderboards. So I was quite impressed with that, if I may say so myself. So I've been meaning to have a proper go at that, get the old voice in good nick, and see if I can get pretty high up on the leaderboards.
Yeah,
so
not ever played that one. What kind of songs are in that?
The songs, I mean, they're giving the dues. They're updating it weekly, just as the rock bands and the guitar heroes and stuff. I must admit, there's not many there's not many songs that's been chucked on there that's instantly made me think, oh yeah, I want that. There's a lot of Coldplay. The reason I downloaded, there was a Coldplay pack a few weeks ago, and I downloaded that. I mean, it's same pricing, 160 points a track. They do packs every week, so fair dues to them that they do keep supporting it, which at the beginning I thought, Microsoft would probably let it fall by the wayside. But I like to see them keep it up. It's good, but let's get some more decent music. But as I've always said with music games of any sort, it's personal taste anyway.
Yeah.
One man's Kylie Minogue is the other man's Megadeth. Is the way I always like to see it. So.
I'm always traumatised from these type of games because my girlfriend, like I said last night, got Guitar Hero World Tour for Christmas. The band set everything. We were trying it out on Christmas Day, and all the family were at the bedroom door watching. And I was testing the microphone out for the first time, so they all got to hear my beautiful singing voice.
Oh dear!
And, the worst thing was, her dad was recording with his video camera, which I didn't know. He's recording me singing Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer," and on the choruses, every time it went into the high bits, "Living on a Prayer."
Yeah,
that's not me trying. I'm a bit better than that in real life. When you do that bit, we're halfway down that bit. I was leaning back and everything. And I watched the video camera back, and I'm too embarrassed to play any of them games ever again now.
Oh, you joke.
Not singing anyway. I don't mind playing the drums. I don't mind people filming that, but not singing.
Funny you mentioned the drums. I've been planning. I may, and I mean may, so don't inundate me with messages. I may actually video one of my singing sensations on the Lips and put it on the forum. So I'll see. I'll see what kind of mood of him, or if any alcohol's past my lips to make me do it. But I might try it. I know that people have asked for it before. I'll see how I feel.
I'll be sure not to watch that in my flat after you've done that. It might bring the ceiling down.
Yeah, it could be a good job, mate. Could get them to come and repair it there. So I'll knock one out for you. One thing I will mention, you mentioned just there, the drums for Rock Band, for Guitar Hero. I actually tried them this week for the first time. I mentioned the other week I'd not put the drums on for I think about 3 months. And I put Guitar Hero World Tour in. Now I've got the Rock Band drums, which as people obviously know that they do play slightly differently on there because there's different setup.
Yeah.
And obviously we all know that Guitar Hero is fundamentally more difficult than Rock Band in any form. I had to stop playing halfway through the first song. Couldn't do it. Only on medium, playing the drums, my fingers and thumbs on my right hand were burning. And I physically just stopped, paused it and switched it off and put the guitar on. I was really shocked and disappointed.
Yeah, it does take some practice. I can play most of the songs on World Tour on hard now, on the drums. But it takes a lot of practice. It's basically getting... the foot pedal's the main one. Trying to get the foot pedal.
The foot pedal's a killer on either.
For some reason, when you're using your hands, you can't use your foot at the same time.
It's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. The old scenario. I actually can play hard. When Rock Band first came out, I was on hard pretty quick on the drums, and I can play it no problem. I think it was just purely the fact that I'd been out 3 months and not played it once, and I was so way off, not even close, in fact. I'll have to get back into it. I'll have to put Rock Band on and ease myself back into it. But anyway, that's basically. I've mentioned earlier about the DS. I've been playing quite a bit of DS. Mario Kart with my daughter. Such a great game still on there. And the online mode on the DS, as the way it works, is really, really good. And she started sticking multiplayer on the DS. Every time she switches it on now, she likes competing against other people, see where they come from. Which I know I've slagged off in the past where Nintendo's poor for, being personal and having friends to chat to. But I've got to say, having that system work well on the DS, where you've got a young child as such playing online, there's no comeback or any problems. It's handled really well, and she enjoys it a lot. So I will hopefully be playing more DS this week, because it's my favourite console at the minute. So anyway, what's your week been like gaming-wise?
Gaming-wise, since I'm not working, it's been quite hectic. Trying to get through my 360 backlog I've got sitting here in front of me. All the while, as you probably know, when the new game comes out on the iPhone, you just take a quick look on the App Store and then that's it, download it, because it's only cheap. That's the problem with these games. I got 2 new ones for my iPhone. I got a game called Underworlds, which only came out a couple of days ago, which you've probably never heard of, but it's a clone for the iPhone of, the PC game Diablo.
Oh yeah,
like a hack and slash game. It's like that. It's, at the minute, it's very short. You can finish the game in about 2.25 hours, which it's $2.99. So I think for that price, it's still 2.25 hours, 2.5 hours. It's still good, and obviously you can still go back and replay it on high difficulties. But it basically is that you just get quests off people, and then you just go around in the dungeons killing the monsters, and then eventually you get to the boss, which will be the point of the quest. You kill the boss, get the item off him, and then go back to the person who gives you the quest. So yeah, it's basically just a clone of Diablo. On the iPhone.
No free version of it then to try?
There's no free version at the moment. One of the people who developed it, I can't remember his surname, but his first name's Bill. He worked on the original Deus Ex for the PC. He worked on that. So the people who are making it have got quite a good calibre.
That's really
behind
sounds
them.
good.
Obviously, it's short at the minute, but it was all iPhone games. They'll keep updating as it goes along. So hopefully you can only choose a warrior class at the minute, but hopefully they'll add new classes such as the sorcerer and things like that as it goes along. I'm sure they'll add more stuff.
I'll have to check that out. I love games like that. That's another game we've not spoke much about on this show completely. Diablo 3 that's supposed to be really in the works and close to coming out. That'll be massive when that comes out.
Yeah, because that game was so good, that Underworlds, I've never played Diablo. So I got off the Blizzard store, I downloaded Diablo, because you can download it off the Blizzard store.
Yeah.
And been playing that. It's quite good.
It's awesome. Diablo 2's better.
Yeah, I thought I'd start for the first one and then work my way down to 2. So
it's a really good game.
Going through them. Another game I picked up on the iPhone, like your World Championship Snooker on the 360, I picked up International Snooker for the iPhone.
What's it like? I saw this and I didn't grab it. I didn't bother.
It's gone back up in price now. It was 59p.
Oh, no.
The sale on was 59p for the World Snooker Championships, but it's gone back up now. Basically, I've never played World Championship Snooker on the 360, but have you ever played Jimmy White's 2 on the PC?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
It is basically a clone of that. And what I was worried about on the iPhone, being all the games are touch controlled, is if you have the controlled, when you're taking a shot, control the cue with your finger, so you have to slide a cue, but luckily you don't have to do that. All you do with your finger is basically line up the shot, change camera angle, and all you do is press the play shot button and it takes the shot for you. So you can change the way you hit the white ball.
I will tell you to go and try Virtual Pool on the iPhone if you've not tried it.
I have tried that one, and this one, International Snooker, blows out of the water.
You're kidding me. Virtual Pool is one of my favourite ever games, so I might check that out, even though it's probably ripped me off now.
International Snooker blows out. It's not gone up that much, I think it's 179 now, so it's still not too bad, but that is the best snooker game on the iPhone. It's brilliant. It's not in the notes, but from your recommendation previous weeks, last Saturday, me and my girlfriend picked up House of the Dead Overkill on the Wii. And it's true what you said about the first 10 minutes. I've been stitches playing that. And I've been stitches. I'm not finished. I'm 2 levels away from finishing it. We were playing it co-op, like me and her. So
it's brilliant.
We're still not finished it, but the cutscenes and the it's
horrendous, aren't they?
They're hilarious. They just make me laugh every time. The things that they both say to each other is hilarious.
I will actually. You've just reminded me of something I meant to mention in last week's show, but this is as good a point as any. I picked up Nintendo Official Magazine a few weeks ago, and funnily enough, Dead Rise, the House of the Dead has just been entered into the Gaming Guinness Book of Records as containing more F-words, or F-bombs as they called it, than any other game. And I think it tallied at 187, I think. Yeah,
it's just in the style of a Quentin Tarantino film.
Oh, people have to see it, only if you're over 18, of course. I wouldn't condone it otherwise, because it really is an eye-opener. And to be on the Wii is just doubly funny.
The best thing is the game's really good as well.
It is good.
The combo system they've got in place where you have to shoot, I think it's 5 zombies in a row without missing. It goes up into different stages, doesn't it?
And the weapon, upgrade weapons and upgrade bullets.
We've not got the automatic shotgun yet. We've just got the shotgun and the Uzi. So if you use the shotgun, I've got the Uzi. I don't know what it's like in single player, but co-op is really fun.
I played it in single player, got quite far, and then I played it in co-op, and it is better in co-op. But you must play it to the end, and I've got to speak to you again when you do.
Yeah, I'll play it to the end because I know you unlock director's mode, don't you?
You do, yeah.
I'll be playing through it again. But yeah, co-op's good fun. You get the usual arguments because I'm one player, so all the monsters tend to come on my side of the screen and attack me. So like I'm dying, and she's sitting next to me. I'm like, oh look, you let me die again. What are you doing? You're supposed to be protecting me here.
Blaming the missus as always.
Yeah.
What does she think of it then? Has it opened her eyes? Did it shock her a bit, or did you warn her beforehand?
I warned her beforehand, mate, but I don't think there's any preparation you can do really for that. She was still shocked when it all kicked off, but she really likes the game, so.
I'll tell you now, when the ending comes, you must be looking at the TV and your missus at the same time, because it will just blow you away.
But
crazy.
Staying on the zombie theme, going on to 360 games this week. Finished Dead Rising, which is in my backlog. I don't know if you've ever finished that one.
Never got on with it, mate. That's the one in the mall, isn't it? Where wasn't it plagued with a ridiculous save game feature?
Yeah, you could only have one save game, and there's only places around the mall you can save.
Yeah, I think I played one sitting of that game, and it's still highly revered, isn't it? People say it's fantastic.
Yeah, I was for the first hour or so playing the game, I hated it. And because people said it was so good, I persevered, and after you get used to the save system, after you get used to the fact that it's a countdown to 72 hours, so you've only got a certain amount of time to do the missions, and after you get used to the fact that you have to pick and choose who you save, you can't save everyone on one playthrough. The game's meant to be played over and over again. Like if you do stuff with your character, you obviously level up like an RPG, but if you die, you can choose to reload your save game, or you can choose to start the game entirely over again, but keep all your stats, so your character's leveled up. So the game, after you get your head around the fact the game's designed to play through multiple times, it is a very good game, but if you just want to play through it once, you're not going to get your head around it. If you just take it on as a normal game, you won't enjoy it.
I've nearly picked it up in a trade again a time or two, and I must admit, you saying that now is probably going to swing it next time I get offered.
Yeah, you have to have some patience and stick with it. But yeah, once it gets to the late stages of the game, it is good. You get to know the layout of the mall and everything, and once everything's familiar to you, it's really good.
And there is a number 2 supposed to be coming out, isn't there?
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I picked it up. I saw number 2 coming out, and I thought, well, I've always wanted to finish it, so I'll finish it this time, and then I'll prepared for number 2.
I think number 2 will do probably better than this one, because they'll obviously iron out the save game, which was the biggest talked about thing, and I think it probably will be a great game, number 2.
Yeah, plus number 2's still by Capcom, but they farmed it out to a company called Blue Castle Games, I think, and they're based in Canada, so it's not being made in Japan this time. And also one of the main things is the character in the screenshots we've seen so far hasn't got a camera. And one of the big things about getting points in the first game is taking pictures.
I can remember now. That was probably nail in the coffin for me. I can remember, rubbish.
Yeah, so in this one, I don't think you take pictures with your camera because you play as a completely different guy. Apparently his name's Chuck. You played as a guy called Frank in the first one. So I think they're going to change a lot of the things that people who really, really like the first one are going to complain about. But overall, it'll probably make it a better game.
I think I'll try and get this again in a trade, definitely, and give it a fair go.
next one I've managed to finish is Prince of Persia. We talked about it last time. I only played it for a little bit, and
I said it gets very repetitive, and I'm surprised you sound like a very persevering kind of person where games are concerned.
Yeah, if I know a game's good to very good, I will finish it. Even though Prince of Persia, like I say, it does, when you've done the 4 levels that you can do at any point, and you have to collect all the orbs to move on to the next power that you get to open up the other 4 levels, that bit is very monotonous, but the bits in between where you're cleansing the land and you're opening up the new powers, that kept me playing, because them bits are really fun.
It is polished as well, isn't it? It does look nice.
I mean, you've not got to the end of the game, but I won't spoil it for you, but the ending is strange. I'll just put it that way. You don't just finish the game. There's stuff after the end credits that are strange. I've got mine came with the downloadable content, which I've not tried yet, so I can't talk about that, but hopefully I'll be moving on to that next now I've finished it.
And would you say overall then it was okay?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I finished it. It was a very good game. Like you said, the only bad thing was going back through and collecting the orbs to open up the other levels. Maybe they could have done it a different way. It
was a very nicely polished looking game, and I like the control system as well.
Yeah.
It was good. People
complained obviously when it came out about you can't die, can you? Basically, you get saved every time. And while people say that's a bad feature, the game was designed around that feature. Because obviously you played it, some of the jumps and things you do aren't obvious, and the split-second decisions, and you have to do them there and then. In my opinion, if they had a normal system where you died, the game would be very frustrating.
It would if it put you back and put you in a, kept having repetitive starting. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
You can say they've designed the difficulty to take into account the fact that you can't die.
It is. It's a good game. Yeah. I like the style of it as well. Thought the art style was really good.
Yeah, like I say, when I get around to playing the downloadable content, because apparently in the downloadable content, I've not played it, but you can die, apparently.
Really? What DLC is it then? What have they...
I think
already out?
Yeah, it's already out. Mine came with it, but it's basically an underground temple thing. You play through, you get a new power, there's new levels, but like I said, I can't comment too much, I've not played it. But from what I've read, so don't take this as gospel, but I think they've changed it so you can die, and it's a lot harder this time.
Well, interesting. You'll have to come and let us know what it is, how good it is.
Yeah. Next one I've been playing on 360 is the Bourne Conspiracy. I've played about 4 or 5 levels of that now. I don't know if you've done that one.
I played quite a bit of this, and again, I actually quite like the game, and it just got lost in my library of games, sadly.
Yeah, I read on message boards online and reviews that it got panned.
I liked it.
But I love the fights. I mean, when you're in a fight with a person in that game, it feels like you're actually, I know it sounds silly, but it feels like you're actually hitting the person.
You have to pull moves off, don't you?
Yeah. When you're doing the punches feel real. When you're hitting the person, it gives off a nice impact. And I've read all 3 of the original books, Bourne books by Robert Ludlum, yeah. And basically, the game follows a bit more storyline than the books do to the film, basically.
I will just say as well that I'm an absolute Bourne Conspiracy nut where the films are concerned. Honestly, my wife moans at me if I'm channel hopping and one of them films is on, no matter where it is, it stays on. I think they're fantastic films, and sadly, I think he's already said he won't do any more, won't he? Which, it's criminal. I want another one.
An interesting fact that not many people know is there is a first Bourne Identity film that came out, and I think it's the late 80s. I've got it on DVD, starring Richard Chamberlain, I think, is Jason Bourne. And another thing you probably won't know if you've not read the books is the story in the books is nothing like the film. I think the only thing they've took from the books is the character's name.
Right,
some of the places like Treadstone. And the first Bourne Identity, the old one that's out on DVD, that copies the story of the first half of the first book.
So are you saying that none of the new films follow any of the books?
No, not at all.
Oh, I'm glad you've
The stories of the books are totally different.
I'm glad you've done that, because I'll probably not get the books now then. So, yeah, interesting. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Love the films to death.
Yeah, so the game is good, so I'll play it through.
You'll stick with this as well, will you? This will be one of your persevering endings, will it?
I'll stick to that. I've got a big pile in front of me, literally, because I've not been working for about 6 weeks now. The only 2 I've got left on this pile now are Dark Messiah, Elements of Might and Magic for the 360,
and
Viking Battle for Asgard. They're the only 2 on my pile now.
Let me tell you now, You may have heard me on this show about Viking.
I've heard you on
Viking is a fantastic game, and I'll be stunned if you don't think that is good.
My girlfriend she's finished it, and she keeps telling me it's amazing, it's the best game. She thinks it's the best game she's played on Xbox.
Honestly, and you know, sadly, like an idiot, I haven't finished it, and I traded it for something that I wanted desperately at the time, which most trades do end up with people. I'm really bad for doing that, but I am going to get that game back because it's absolutely fantastic game. Have you seen her play it then? You've seen her playing it, and
no, this was before I met her. She'd finished it.
Oh God! Clean her, drop everything, even Born, and start that game tonight.
I'm gonna do Born. I like finishing the game I'm playing first. I can't go on to another one.
Oh, I don't know how you can do that, but yeah, carry on anyway with your what you've been playing.
Next one's a PC game. Like to stick one in there. This morning, actually, I finished it. It's a game called Dracula Origins. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I haven't, no.
It is an adventure game, like Monkey Island, Broken Sword, like that kind of game.
Point and click.
Yeah, point and click adventure. Basically, you play as Van Helsing trying to stop Dracula. Some of the puzzles are mind-numbingly crazy. I mean,
stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of these kind of games that you've played, but this one. One of the puzzles this morning was linked to piano notes, and it was basically the bad thing about it though. It was linked to piano notes, but the game didn't actually supply you with a book telling you what piano notes were, and I don't play the piano, so I had to look on Google what keyboard notes were for a piano just so I could solve this puzzle. Now, things like that really infuriate me. I mean, people in a game shouldn't expect you to go to an outside source to do it.
No.
They should include it in the game.
Point and clicks are one of my favourite genres ever. I had Monkey Island played, finished them all, loved it to death. All the LucasArts ones early in the day, they were my favourite genre. Sadly, I'd like to see more of them appear now on the new machines. I really would. I love them.
There is one. The people who make this called Frogwares.
Yeah.
They've got a game coming out in April for the PC, Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper, and that's coming out on the 360. So.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
I will pick that up. Definitely.
So, I don't know when it comes out, either this week or next week. They've got Sherlock Holmes and the Curse of the Mummy, that's coming out on the DS. Either this week or next week, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, there it is then. That's me sorted. But I
like
love them.
It's the same company who make this game, so I don't know how crazy the puzzle's going to be.
I was going to say to you, I hate games that do stupid puzzles. I mean, I suppose, if I'm being honest, and a big fan of Monkey Island, I mean, they was the epitome of craziness for some of their stuff, what they did. But once you got onto their wavelength, and it's the same with these games, I don't know if anybody else out there has a real, enjoyment to these type of games, but with them, you have to get onto the wavelength, and once you start thinking, like the games designer was obviously thinking, I think that the puzzles, although crazy, become a little bit more easier.
Yeah, I mean, I've played God knows how many of these point-and-click adventures like you. I've finished most of them. Most of the puzzles in this Dracula Origins are quite self-explanatory, like use an axe to smash something or something like that. Things like that. They're pretty much you can get that off the top of your head. But like this one, I say with the piano notes, they expect you to know what keys are, C, D, C, B sharp, and all that on a piano. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. You shouldn't do that. Stupid.
But the best, mentioning Monkey Island, I can't go away without saying the best bit in any point-and-click adventure game ever is the insult sword fighting in Monkey Island 1.
I hated that. It was my worst point of the entire series. I hated it.
You have to learn every single insult and every single comeback if you're not going to get past that section.
I know, and I hated it. And I think, actually, thinking back, I find some other source of getting the answer to that back in the day. But
I played that.
Yeah, I hated that bit. But the games were awesome, truly awesome. But talking to PC, I keep meaning I've still got... sat here on my desk, Runes of Magic, the MMORPG, I keep mentioning it, it's a free one, I've got it on my desk and I keep meaning to start playing it, and I'm going to, because I'm worried, I think, when I get into it, that it'll hook me in. But
yeah, I heard you last week with Foyble. I thought he was going to get you back into WoW for a minute.
Well, I'm just about to finish with this, because this is, get ready everybody. When we all spoke last week about WoW and how much it's got Foyble, by the short and careless as I call it, it's a killer game for doing that. I was bored in the living room the other day on the wife's laptop. She sat there watching the TV came on, and I'm sat talking, and I thought, oh, what can I do? And I went onto WoW's website, to try and get into the free bit to start it up again and get going. I could not remember my settings. I couldn't remember the old email that I had going. So after about an hour's trying of one thing and another, I gave up. So I sadly didn't get my account back up and I didn't start again. But it's like a recovering alcoholic, I suppose, that I think I had the bottle in my hand and one hand on the top.
Yeah, I used to play it back when I was at uni. I used to play it. I've still got it here boxed in front of me.
I have,
but I'm under strict instructions from my girlfriend. I'm never to play that game. I'm not allowed to play it. Not allowed.
I say I actually personally know one of my friends has actually got divorced purely because of that game.
Yeah, half of it is basically if she tells me to do something, I'd still do it most
in a
of the
minute.
time. But knowing that, I'll do it. I wouldn't play WoW.
I want to. I'll sit here and admit now, without no word of a lie, I could quite easily finish this podcast now, and in the next half an hour, if it was all loaded on my, I could quite easily go into it.
Yeah, I can say now, I like my relationship with my current girlfriend too much to play WoW again. If I put it on, you wouldn't see me. You would not see me.
That'd be it, would it? You'd seriously got hold of you at it.
Yeah, that'd be it. I remember when I was at uni, I had a different girlfriend, and she used to be on my back all the time. All I ever do is see the back of you playing that computer.
Yeah.
All the time, and that's all I used to do is play WoW.
I when in the height of, I went through closed beta, and from the off of a good 2 years, I think there was many a time I sat at this very desk where, you know, and I know I can see it now where my wife's, you know, had the food ready. We always like to eat as a family. We always have to. I see that as a tradition that most families should follow. But there was many a time I played WoW where I sat here and said, look, in a minute, or put it in the oven, do you know what I mean? And it got to a point where it was literally ruling your life. And I think I mentioned to Foyble last week, you cannot put your finger on why.
It's just so polished. It
is. And do you know what? And I still say it's a little tad overpriced now, given the fan base that it's got. And I know that the business people out there will be screaming, well, look, it's a business, they want to make millions. Well, they are making millions. 30+ million a month they're dragging in. I think it's time that either a reduction was done, or maybe even a better update. I mentioned this last week with Foyble, that I think the game's now ready to move on from the usual updates that they keep bringing. More of the same, you know, it's all the same rubbish that keeps coming out. So
that's reminded me of a news story I saw as well about WoW. You can play Peggle in WoW now.
I got that in my inbox yesterday. I didn't know that you could actually play one of the other...
Bejeweled, isn't it, or something like that?
Yes, Bejeweled. It's actually, I don't know how they do it. It's actually tied into the gaming, where I think when you're waiting for something, you can click it and play it within the game.
You get actual items in WoW, don't you, for doing well on the game? I think.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it? They've upped up. It's been that long since I played. But yeah, certainly I got the email saying that you can now play Peggle in WoW. I mean, good God.
That's just a killer, isn't it? Two of the most addicting games ever in one.
I mean, how can you... That is just crime, isn't it? Peggle and WoW together, it's just crazy. World's gone mad. But have you any more? Is that it?
That's it for me today.
Yeah, so there we have it, guys. What we've been playing, certainly interesting. A wide range of games. And Mideon still makes me laugh at the fact that he has to play and finish these games. It's a crazy way of carrying on, in my opinion. But good luck to you, mate. Especially with finishing Born. But anyway, guys, about just going to... start really winding down the show. I think we've really cracked on this week. It's looking to be just about right. Competitions, I'm still trying to set some more competitions up. Last week's winner, Carly, that won the X4 Awesome Competition Prize, she got in touch with me to say that she's received them, she's not tried them. I think she said she was also going to post on the forums and let us all know how they are. Not that... I'll probably be sick to the stomach reading about it, because it is a set that I really do want. But well done to Carly there last week for winning the X4s. As I say, hoping to get some competitions back up and running. You know, it's a part of the show I do like to have on there, like to win stuff. But just going to close the show with one thing that I received this morning. Now, I'm actually reading this as is, and it was literally minutes before we started recording. And it's... about the FIFA League. You heard Foyble on about it last week. He was trying to get it up. So I've received the email this morning, and it's Ruffian Stew off the forum. Has started a brand new league. There was a league running last year tied to the old show, as you may have realised. I don't think it's ever been announced who the winners was. There was a few following. So I'll just read what he's put in this mail. And he said the winner of the CGUK FIFA Online League was Muz80, MUZ80. He played as Manchester City. He actually won a real-life prize of 1,600 Microsoft points. Second place was Als, who I know personally through email. He played as Aston Villa. He won the prize of 1 month live gold card and 2 months free subscription to Love Film. They also gave an extra prize, which I really like this prize. I think this is a really well done thing, and well done to the person that won. Said they gave an extra prize to the person who played in the most sportsmanlike way. And the winner was Rain God Zippo. And he played as West Brom, and the reason they gave him this, and I've got to hold my hand up here and say I think he did deserve it. He says, goes on to say he never quit when he was playing the FIFA games, whoever he was playing. His final scores was he won 1 game, drew 4, and lost 35, sadly. But he kept going every time, never gave up, and they gave him a 1 month gold card as a prize. But luckily, what they've done this year for him, because he finished last on a sportsman, he gets to pick his team in the new league that's just been set up recently, and he has chosen Real Madrid. So let's hope Rain God Zippo has a better luck in this one. And talking about this one, it said that they had 28 players. They had played over 400 games in that league last year. He has got a blog set up. I think he's wrote it down here somewhere. Yeah, his blog is ruffianstew.blogspot.com. All the details are there, but more so, there is actually a full post on the forum to start this new league. The league is called Ruffian Stew's FIFA League Season 2. It is linked through our forums at crankygamersuk.net. Go to the forums, guys, or go to the blog and go and have fun. It sounds like they have a great time in there. Sadly, I've never got on with any of the FIFA games, but if you're into your football, head over there. There's obviously, I think, it doesn't mention here, but I'm guessing that there will be prizes again for this season. So head on over to our forums. You can get there from the main page. So one final thing I do want to mention, talking about the forums, just want to say that a bit disappointed this week, having been off for a week, that the forums look like they've took a bit of a downturn. The influx of new sign-ups was brilliant, as we all mentioned. Me, Foyble, and Frack, who have been running, helping get it set up. A lot of hard work went into setting it up. I'd like you guys to just, head on over to the forums. There's a lot of work goes on in the background, especially for the gamer nights. You've seen the one there from Ruffian Stew is really working to get this FIFA one up. So spread the word a bit more, guys, if you don't mind. Get your friends over to the forums. It's a great place. Chat, gaming, gamer nights. Arrange all your game nights on there. So let's have some more visits to the forum.
Yeah, we have 112 members as we speak.
Which I will say, I know that most people will compare it to the old forums. In 2 years, I think we got to 500. I know for a fact that a lot of them were dead members. I think there was around about 100 dead members on there that turned up, never posted from day one. So I think all forums suffer from that anyway. So as I say, really grateful for the high influx of 112. I think I checked last night, 112.
Yeah, 112 now, sitting right in front of me.
So as I say, I'm only asking you guys to come because I know you listen to this show because you like gaming, so it's all there. The gamer nights are great. Whichever system you're on, I think there's nights being arranged on all systems, and there's never any backbiting, never any calling. We don't stand for it at all. So if you're one of them people out there, and I know there's a lot of you that have sat and really contemplated playing online gaming and never quite had the nerve, this is your chance. This is exactly how I started online. Joined a forum, got to know people and played online, and thoroughly enjoyed it. So head on over to www.crankygamersuk.net. The forum link is on the top page, top right hand side. Come on over, sign up, introduce yourself, and enjoy it. So before I give all the shout-outs for the end, I would just like to thank Mideon again for appearing. As I say, welcome as ever on the show. Enjoyed it. Do you have any shout-outs yourself you'd like to mention?
Yeah, got a few. One that I've not put in the notes, but I've just remembered it anyway. So On Fear of Death. Basically, first shout-outs to Foyble. I always listen to the show anyway, whether I'm on it or not on it. Foyble's last week was a brilliant show. Obviously, for reasons beyond his control, he couldn't be here today, so I'll just hope everything goes well for him in that respect. Big shout out to the forums, like you just said, 112 members. It's still going strong. Hopefully, we can get more members on there. The newest registered user, it says here, is Galaxy Agent. So if you register around showtime next week or on previous weeks, you might get a shout out in the future.
Yes, that could be a good idea. We might start shouting out the newest member of the forum. Yeah, good idea. I like that one. And
the last one, like I said, upon death penalty, it's my girlfriend Jess's birthday on Sunday. She's the grand old age of 24 on Sunday. She's making me feel old now. It's a bit disappointing.
I hope you've got something special planned then for Sunday.
Yeah, it's already sorted, mate.
Yeah, for that. Good job. But yeah, happy birthday to Mideon's other half. So that's well done. Thank you again for coming on the show. I will, as I say, you're welcome again. Hopefully, I probably ask Foyble to come on next week, and we might have us threesome again. So we'll see. It's interesting to try it out. So. Anyway, just left me to say the usual stuff of the website. You should all know it by now, www.crankygamersuk.net. Email for anything, especially question and answer quick fire. It's becoming popular, but it won't be popular if you don't actually send the questions in. Send anything else in at all to crankytoz@gmail.com. The PayPal button on the front of the page. Thanks this week for a few donations that arrived. I just want to mention on that as well, I did make a post. There has been a few people... quite a few actually, that's why I made it, saying that they was having problems with the link of the PayPal donation button on the front page. We have tracked them down. I have been in contact with PayPal. It is actually to do with Internet Explorer. It is having a problem for some reason, we don't know yet, of working. It literally does not work. It sends you to a broken link. The only thing I can say to that at the minute, until PayPal sorts it out, is the link does work if you use Firefox browser. And without getting too sidetracked, I would actually say that anybody who is not using Firefox is missing out on probably the best browser that you can use anyway. I use Firefox, have done for a good number of years now. But yeah, the Internet Explorer, so it's not your machine. I know that a few people have tried to track it down. But thanks to the people that did donate this week. As always, leave your reviews on iTunes. And I do actually want to mention something on there as well that is out of my control, and this is a little disappointing as well. I know that we're trying to get the reviews up and get on iTunes pages. Sadly, the place where my show gets put up, the actual places that you all list for the show to be put in, only lists games. It does not have the sub-listing of games and videos. So if you actually went onto the iTunes charts and checked the links, I only appear in the games section. I do not appear in the games and video section, which is the video games section, sorry, which is a bit disappointing. I have wrote to the server file hosts, and I'm waiting for a reply. Hopefully if they can get that sorted. But still leave your reviews. It still gets me there. I do appear on the front page of video games. You can see it at the top. So all those are appreciated. As always, again, the affiliate with GamePoints Now still works after the mix-up of the past week or so. www.gamepointsnow.com. Enter the code Cranky Gamers UK. Get a small discount. Help the show. I do say every week that what they have got is Microsoft points, your gold subscription points, but they have now as well, to all you addicts out there, they have got WoW subscription cards on there as well. And you do get them immediately. So that's all the show bump at the end. Finish with, finally. Off to watch some football and hope that Derby County can score in the last 15 minutes. And not like the phantom goal that I reported last week that never appeared. It's left with me to just thank Mideon once again, mate. Thank you very much.
No worries.
And it's goodbye from me. Till next week. Bye.
Bye.